Everybody, welcome back. This is Frank DiMora with the Last Chronicles of Planet Earth. I would ask that you visit my website, www.demoraministry.com. And once you get there, you'll see this book, the front and the back covers, and below it there's a link. Click to the link and you can download this documentary of 2010, the latest edition. And it will give you all the information to prove that Jesus is the Messiah. And all the prophecies that he said were going to happen just before he came back, they're in the process of being fulfilled right now. And I'm going to cover a couple of those prophecies right now. I'm going to finish off with Psalm 83 that I covered in the first video today, because I wanted to point something out that I didn't have a chance to point it out because of lack of time. But when you read in Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 24 through 27, where it's talking about Damascus, Syria, being destroyed by fire, we see in verse 27 that this, it says, "And I will set fire on the walls of Damascus, and I will consume the fortress of Ben-Hadad." So we know that fire will be coming during this time against Israel's enemy, which is obviously Syria, because they're mentioned in Psalm 83. Now in verse 24, it likens, let me just read it. "Damascus has become feeble. She has turned to flee, and panic has gripped her. Anguish and pain have seized her." Now get this. Pain like that of a woman in labor. So when is this going to happen? When is the Psalm 83 war going to happen? Well, we have a very good indication because of when it's going to happen, because we're told that it's going to happen as a woman in labor. Now, Damascus is Syria. They're mentioned in the attack against Israel. Damascus, we know from Isaiah 17:1, is going to be destroyed by fire. We know this by Jeremiah as well. When you read that, when you scroll down, you'll read those verses. It's going to be destroyed by fire. So we know that this war is very, very soon, because Paul tells us virtually the same exact thing that we read in Jeremiah that's prophesied about Syria, about the pains, the labor pains. Let me read you what Paul the Apostle said in 1 Thessalonians 5:3. Chapter 5, verse 3. It says, "While people are saying peace and safety, destruction will come upon them suddenly as labor pains on a pregnant woman, and they will not escape." Now reverse this, if you will, and go back into what he tells us in Jeremiah about the birth pains, about Damascus being destroyed by fire. And then you'll understand that when you put it all together, Israel is talking peace and safety. Syria is an ally of Iran. Ahmadinejad is visiting Syria, and he's also in Lebanon today, antagonizing the Middle East to attack and to fulfill Psalm 83. So everything that he warned about, the call for peace and safety, the destruction that's coming, it's going to happen while they're calling peace and safety. And the main reason why Ahmadinejad from Iran is in the Middle East right now, or in Beirut and in Syria visiting, is to form these allies to attack Israel. That's the conference, I believe, that we see from Psalm 83 when they're coming together in council, making their plans to wipe out Israel. So very, very intricate and specific prophecies that point that these are definitely events that are going to be happening in the very, very near future. Now, I want to go into another prophecy in Revelation chapter 9, verse 21. We see Jesus speaking to us about drugs, the drug generation. The words magic arts, when you get into the scripture, it actually says magic arts. Let me read this. The words magic arts in Revelation 9:21 is the Greek word pharmakeia, which comes from the word pharmacy. It signifies the use of medicine, drugs, spells, such as those used in witchcraft and those used today by those who are seeking a greater high. Jesus in Revelation chapter 9 verse 21 shows us that our generation would be known as the drug generation, and we definitely have fulfilled that prophecy. There's no doubt about that. Now, I want to combine another prophecy with 2 Timothy chapter 3 verses 1 through 5, because Timothy shows us what the people are going to look like, the characteristics of the people who are going to look like in the last days. Now, combine what Jesus told us about the drug generation and combine what you're going to hear from Timothy, put those things together, then you get a real clear picture. We're living in those exact days that these prophets, Timothy who prophesied, and of course the Lord himself, in prophesying to Timothy to write these things down for us. Now, Timothy tells us, but mark this, there will be troubled times in the last days. Obviously, we're seeing that right now. People will be lovers of themselves. More magazines out there, Self magazine, more magazines that you could possibly get that tells you how you can be in love with yourself and concentrate on yourself. And this is also part of that prophecy coming to pass. Lovers of money. People will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money. Keep this in mind, because this is very important, especially when it comes to drugs. They'll be boastful, proud, very abusive people. It says abusive in the scripture. Disobedient to their parents. Obviously, we're seeing this because parents are not involved anymore. Let me back up. Some parents are involved, but when you look at the numbers, it's very small for people that really are involved in churches, in teaching and sitting down with their kids, studying the words with their kids. The ratio to that is very small. So one of the problems as a backlash to that is the kids are running rampant. They're doing mainly what they want to do, and so we have problems with the kids. So that part of the prophecy has also been fulfilled. Ungrateful, unholy, without love, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal. People are going to become brutal. Not lovers of good, they will be treacherous, rash, conceited, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God, having the form of godliness but denying its power, have nothing to do with them. Now, when you scroll down, you're going to see a news article, and this news article has to do with a drug case. And it says the Mexican investigator in the Falcon Lake case, Rolando Armando Flores, was killed. And just, I think it was about a week and a half ago, there was a husband and wife that were on one of these watercraft, skidoos, and part of the members from the cartel intercepted the husband and killed him. And the wife got away, and we had an investigator that they sent down to find and to take care of this and to try to find out exactly who did it and whatnot. But they just found out now, and it's going to be reported when you scroll down, there's a news about it, that his head was chopped off. Now, not good news, but it's to show you, first of all, that the drug problem in Mexico is worse than a war situation just about, and there's more people being killed in Mexico now than we saw in the Iraqi war. All these facts are brought out in my book, by the way, and the documents to show you what's happening with the cartels and whatnot. But they beheaded this investigator. Now, link the drugs, and you'll get Revelation 9:21. You link the persons or the people's personalities who are brutal. Nobody's going to cut somebody's head off unless they're brutal. They're treacherous. They're abusive. And of course, Timothy says their love of money. Obviously, the world has been saturated with drugs, and the people selling these drugs are in for the money. So we see all of these prophecies coming to pass, the characteristics. And when you put all of the prophecies together, not just the prophecy about drugs, but you're going to put all the prophecies together, you'll see the fulfillment of it. And we are.